Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you all had a great May the 4th. It's good to be back. I've had a very busy week, started my new job, so I haven't had time to upload any videos, so I sort of uploaded ahead of time this past week so that I could have some free time on May the 4th to watch The Bad Batch. Awesome. Good start to The Bad Batch so far, can't complain. And on the note of Star Wars, we've got a diorama build for you today. This is the Death Star / Death Star throne room diorama that I built. We're going to jump into it like we normally do, talking about what you're going to need if you want to recreate this build, what my thinking was, that sort of thing. And then kind of some ideas as to what you can do with this sort of thing. So we're going to jump into it. Do subscribe if you're new here. I've got plenty of content coming. Do leave a like on this video if you enjoy it. So let's jump into it, guys. Okay guys, so what are we going to need? So I'm going to put up on the screen what I used for this build. Now this one is a little bit different to some of the diorama builds I've posted on the channel in the past. Although it is quite simple in many ways, this one is a little bit more complex in terms of you know, the process to actually make it happen. But obviously there's ways around things, and I managed to find some interesting ways around things that I'll share with you, and hopefully you can benefit from. What we've got here is 3 separate pieces of MDF wooden board. And I found a company that basically have a laser cutter that laser cut templates onto wood, and they had these pieces. They had the kind of Death Star corridor wall here, and then they had the kind of throne room, the big circular window piece with the kind of steps portion for the throne. Obviously we've got Emperor Palpatine here and his Black Series throne, so that doesn't come with this diorama build, so that's something that obviously you can buy 3D printed versions of it, that sort of thing. This is to the 6-inch scale though. The company that sold this, they do actually do both the wall, the back circular wall and the steps in either this bigger scale, which is more so for sort of 6-inch figures, and they also do like a little bit of a smaller scale that sort of fits the 3 3/4 scale, just a little bit nicer. So you can go either way with that, which I think is really cool. Basically these came completely just blank wooden, you know, unpainted, just with the laser cuts, and I just popped all of the individual pieces out. So basically it's, you know, it's been lasered, but it's holding on by the skin of its teeth, and you just pop those things out and then you get these see-through pieces. We're going to move on to, you know, how I sort of took this to the next level with my own creativeness. But basically this came blank, and then I added the clouded perspex to it and the clear perspex to it, to make the kind of window look, and the kind of clouded perspex you see on the steps. So those are things that you'll add yourselves. But what I thought was great about this company is that you can do these in bulk. So if you wanted, you know, if you wanted to buy 1, 2 or 10, you can do that. And I think when I bought them, they were sort of, I think for the bigger ones, I think they were sort of £10, 10 to £15 each. And then the centerpiece with the stairs was a little bit more. But because this is, like I said, this is MDF, and this was a little bit more of a intricate build, I was wanting to, you know, really kind of like step it up rather than kind of stick with the foam board that I normally do. So if I take this piece here and sort of start showing you up close, we'll get into what happened when I built this and kind of what I would suggest for you. So as you can see, it is now black. That is because I spray painted all the pieces. What I did was I spray painted just the one side, because the reason being, obviously, you know, you're not going to see the back unless you want to flip it. But then the problem is that when you are putting the perspex backing on as a kind of diffuser for the light, as you can kind of see, you get the blue hue back here. You can see my hand but not clearly. That's, you know, the clouded effect. That's the type of perspex I ordered for that effect. Because that's that side and the command strips are there, the Velcro command strips that are holding that on, it's not like you really can use that back pit. So it seemed, you know, it seemed a little needless to paint that. So what I did was I painted all of these, 1 coat, let it dry, 2 coats, let it dry, 3 coats, let it dry, and basically just kept going until I was completely happy that I got coverage everywhere. And as you can see, like from the blank wooden piece, it would have been on the back, as you can see, and you can see kind of where I just popped those things out. When it's painted black, it looks fantastic. You know, you can really see that famous Death Star kind of hallway wall paneling look going on there, and then obviously with the frosted perspex, obviously makes it really nice, because what you can do is you can have, you know, you can have the lights behind it, and it's obviously going to diffuse that. So rather than just having a glare of light and kind of seeing the light behind it, I thought this would be a nice touch so that you could make it look more realistic for your toy photography. That's what I'm looking to do with this, but equally this is a fantastic you know, diorama piece for a display. If you wanted to, you know, put some stand, you know, kind of cut some stand pieces to fix to the back of here and just stand this in a display, you know, that would be a perfect, if I just show you with, you know, Palpatine, that'd be a perfect backdrop. And like I say, very transferable, very cool, and most of the work's done for you, so that's really good. As I mentioned, basically I ordered, you know, you want to look at which one you're going to order if you're doing it the way I did it, where you got the company to laser cut them yourself, because I don't have a laser cutter. If you have a laser cutter, then obviously it's up to you on the sizing you use, but I ordered the bigger one. So obviously you want to measure the point from the holes from corner to corner to see how big a sheet you would need. Obviously you could run it all the way out to the edges, but you don't necessarily need to, and with this kind of thick frosted perspex, it isn't as kind of cheap as, like, you know, it's not thin plastic. It is, if you can kind of see here, it is that kind of thick frosted perspex, so it's nice and solid. The command strips, obviously Command are a very trustworthy brand. You could get any kind of Velcro kind of Command style strips, or you can use, you know, something more permanent if you want. But I would recommend going with Command, just because, you know, if it's trusted in terms of it can hold the weight, and you know, they're the best at the, you know, the best at the kind of thing they do, then I don't see the point in trying to cut a corner there. If you want to go that route, that's fine. It's just more the fact of, you know, the perspex is quite thick, so you need a trustworthy adhesive strip there. I've done the Velcro so that I can take this off for transporting it, or changing panels out, or doing different effects and stuff like that. So that's the side panel, and as you can see, I've just got kind of simple setup going here, but we've got Palpatine, so I'm going to put him out of the way along with his throne here. If you didn't catch my Black Series Palpatine review video that was released recently, I suggest you go and check that out. I think you'll enjoy it. So basically what we've got here is the same type of MDF piece with, like I say, the laser cutting kind of template there, and then I popped it all out, all of these different pieces. These pieces, the stairs and the back will actually disconnect, so there's a piece there and a piece there that pop into the wall. And if I just lift that out, as you can kind of see, will that focus for you? So it's just a little slot there that pegs into the holes in the wall here. So you can kind of see that you've got all the, you know, the designs here, and then just here you've got one here and one here. And as you can see, I did the same process. Didn't paint the back because, again, I'm using the perspex backing with the command strips, which are Velcro, so that I can take them off as and when I want. Obviously, especially for this one, the good thing is, as you can see, I've been touching it and the perspex is rather smeared. So this allows me to take it off and give it a good clean, in between my photographs, which is very important. As you can see, I spray painted it black again. Now, the reason I say go in multiple times, even if you've got a really good, spray paint, you want to go in multiple times from different angles because of all of the different kind of little pieces in here that probably will get missed the first pass, and you don't want to kind of be done, ready to shoot, and then you see some brown poking through from the wood that hasn't been painted. But yeah, nice and simple. As you can see, I'll show you closer up the stair portion. Now the stair portion, as I said again, had these pieces. This came completely flat packed, so I had to pop in all of the stairs and assemble that and then glue that. And I used some hot glue just to make that happen. And then obviously you can see that I've painted that black as well. And then what I did was, because I had some leftover frosted perspex, I went in and I cut to size some perspex strips to put as backing pieces so that this could be lit from the back with that diffused glow again. As you can see, looks fantastic. So it's a nice and easy thing. And this is the sort of thing where, it's a little bit of an investment in comparison to some of my other diorama builds, but this was much needed for my Black Series Palpatine. You can't have an emperor without his throne and his throne room. So obviously you can see that I've got the second wall, which is the exact same process, painted only one side again. By all means paint the two sides if you want to, and that frosted perspex there just velcroed on so that it can be taken off for storage or cleaned. What we've got here is something that I embarked on actually later than this project. It wasn't at the same time, but I had it in my mind when I was thinking of doing this build. Basically, I thought, right, well, outside the window, you're going to see, like from the famous kind of scenes from Return of the Jedi, when the Emperor's looking out with Luke saying, your fleet is lost, and you see the stars and you see the galaxy, and I thought, well, I could have something printed out, but then you're probably going to have a problem with glare and that sort of thing. And then I was thinking, well, I could, just use a screen. But the problem is that the circle of exposed window on the stair portion of that wall is so big that it was difficult unless I'm putting it in front of my big TV in the living room to find a screen that would reach that far. And I think if you're using a PC monitor, which a lot of people do, or just a computer screen, you'd struggle to cover that, especially from different angles. So I thought, right, I'm going to get just a cheap piece of just MDF board from B&Q if you're in the UK, which is kind of like Lowe's and Home Depot, that sort of thing in the US. And basically what I did was I completely black washed it with black acrylic paint, let it dry, came in again to make it just a little bit fuller. Then I came in with the end of the paintbrush, the handle. So basically get your paintbrush, you've got the brush part there, flip it round so you've got just the long handle that you can just poke into the paint, and you can poke white dots all over here to make these stars. And this kind of look is obviously meant to be you looking out into the galaxy, and I think it looks pretty good for a budget kind of solution. But yeah, I'm really pleased with it. Basically what I did was I went in with different sized brushes, brush handles rather. Some were bigger, some were smaller, and what I found was that when you put the first tap on, every tap after that you lose a little bit of paint and the paint spots start becoming smaller. So basically if you start doing it randomly, you get these bigger spots, or obviously the stars that are closer up, and then you get the smaller ones. So I thought that was a really good way. And what I did was I went in with some white paint, but I also had some kind of like white pearlescent paint. So that's where you get the kind of a little bit of a shine in certain places. And I don't know if you can see, but when you look at that, I think, if we froze the screen there, I'd think, that's the that's the Star Wars kind of galaxy, space look there. I feel like I'm looking out of the cockpit of a a spaceship. So pretty good little piece to add to this, and obviously this is good because you can use it with your other diorama pieces if there's you know, any kind of other use for it, like you know, if you've got a an X-wing or a TIE fighter or something like that, and you want to, you know, have a shot and it needs a backdrop, this you can light and it's not going to glare. If anything, it's just going to you know, light the black up, and the white might, you know, be quite bright, but in Photoshop and in post and stuff like that, you can play with that and that'll be fixed really easily. You know, it's a lot easier to fix that than kind of like the glare that you get from a glossy photo or something like that. So I thought that was a nice little fix there. So as I mentioned, you don't have to do that part, that's an optional extra, but it is really handy because you can use it on multiple things. Again, you could use it as a display, you don't have to use it you know, as a diorama piece for toy photography or anything like that. That's completely up to you. As I always say, guys, you know, be creative and just do what you want to do that makes you happy. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. I hope it was informative. There's plenty more coming, plenty more diorama pieces, action figure reviews, other creative builds coming up, so do subscribe. But I'm going to leave you with that, guys. Take care, and I'm going to see you in the next one.